Hi, I'm a citizen of Union.
I need your name and your address.
Ruth Gary, 1253 Shetland Drive.
Thank you.
All I've heard is ugliness tonight, and I think that I would like a happy police force, not an unhappy police force. And I can see an unhappy police force if you put Frank Bradley.
I live on Lexington Road. I'm a union taxpayer for 44 years. All I can say is please vote no for this. Be good to the taxpayers. Maybe there's another gentleman better than Mr. Bradley that you could hire. And also, too, why wasn't this study done by an independent study instead of by his friend? That has bothered me. In the paper I read that violations were given to Mr. Bradley for driving an unregistered vehicle, a town vehicle. Could you please tell me why was a town vehicle unregistered and why was he driving it? If that happened to me, my car would be impounded.
Sure. To the extent that there's an outstanding summons that relates to that, I'm not going to comment on this time, but it was a township-owned vehicle. It's my understanding it came off of a lease, and we were just waiting for the appropriate paperwork from the leasing company in order to properly register the car.
And you allowed somebody to use that car when it wasn't registered? Suppose he was in an accident. Our town would really be sued. And this is the man that you want to be put as the authority. I'm sorry. Please vote no.
Officer Sylvia Demena, Township of Union Police, also a resident, 1994 Churchill Drive, Union. As a police officer, I don't see any efficiency, any increased efficiency in our department. I see a lot of problems. There's somebody that's giving recommendations to the department that doesn't know the daily running of the department. I don't believe that you should transfer that power over to a single person. Under ordinance, you can have it under a committee. That means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Okay? 5 people who on a 24/7 basis can share the responsibility. Second of all, why wasn't this put up as a vote for the taxpayers to say if they want to have all this appropriate authority to one person?
Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Well,
Thank you. I don't have to answer that question at this time. No. No.
Wait.
We're here to hear your comments.
Okay. Now, I heard that we have a study that was done, okay? And now we're going to have the study to see how we want to have our form of government changed, and that's going to be on the ballot. Why isn't this? Is there an ordinance against it? Is there something against that?
Go ahead.
I can answer that question, Mayor. With regard to the change of form of government, there's a statute.
Your name is?
Daniel Antonelli. There's a statute that governs the change of form of government, whether you do a charter study commission or a direct petition. As to the ordinance that's before the committee currently with regard to the appropriate authority, there is no statute that allows to put that on a ballot to be voted upon by the residents. Certainly, if this ordinance is approved, a resident would have the opportunity, or the PBA, to challenge the adoption of the ordinance by way of a prerogative writ action in Elizabeth. So that would be the mechanism by which you could challenge the ordinance, assuming it's approved.
All right, Mr. Antonelli, I have a question. You said there's nothing to, is there something that prohibits it from being on the ballot? You didn't answer that question.
Basically, municipalities have to operate within the confines of the statute and the authority given to them.
Does the statute prohibit it from being on the ballot?
The Township Committee form of government does not have a petition referendum type of procedure similar to the change of form of government. So to answer your question, there is no statute that allows it to go on to, let's say, November.
Is there something in the statute that prohibits it, yes or no?
we would be without authority to place it on the ballot if we so choose, okay? However,
You
the
can't
statute...
place it on the ballot.
We cannot do that, that's
Oh, you
correct.
cannot.
Correct.
But you can decide amongst yourselves that you can change it.
So certainly, the statute that allows us to designate the appropriate authority gives us that right to do.
Okay, as a citizen, I'm opposed to it.
Good evening. As I said and observed,
Name and address, please.
my name is Millette Brown. I live in Union, New Jersey. As I sit back and observe all of you here, I can see that smug look on your face. It's very clear that your mind has been made up. However, I am opposed to this ordinance being passed. And it's just amazing to me that as human beings, you can sit there and think of treating our officers the way you're doing. It's no different than sending our soldiers to war without the proper guidance, equipment. They can't call someone on a traffic stop. It's absurd. You sit there, your faces look all bland because your mind is made up. But if you had any sense of human feelings, yeah, there's problems with the police force. Yes, officers complain. Sure, I complain. That doesn't mean that the chief needs to be taken out of his position and a person that has no knowledge and has a real hostile relationship with the police force to be appointed. What is this really all about? Is this a point to prove to people that, hey, the township of Union, we're in control. We don't care how many people's in the township. We're going to just do what we're going to do. It's absurd. These are people that are risking their lives every day for you and me and your family if you live in the township. And basically, you're giving them your butts to kiss. You don't respect them. There's no respect. So this is absurd. And so you sit there all smug and everything, say, oh, well, they can talk 2 hours, but we're going to do what we're going to do. But you know what? As Malcolm X said, the chicken can come home to roost.
Go ahead.
Mr. Kemper, this question is directed to you. While the police department was being under investigation, you stated that you were concerned, that you wanted to hear what the police officers had to say. Are you listening to them now? Are you concerned?
Absolutely.
So then why are you passing on a vote that everybody here is telling you not to pass? Where's your concern there?
Because I have concern for 55,000 residents of the Township of Union.
Okay, if you say so.
Who also need to know that there has been no change. I guess I'm hearing there's a change in policy, in backup procedures. Is there an actual change? Chief, has there been a change? Can you explain to me what the change was?
Chief Kramer, Union Chief, police officer 33 years, Chief for 12. Yes, there has been a change. Certain policies were changed where the administrator and the deputy chief decided it was more efficient to keep officers on their posts rather than backing up other officers on their own. They felt it was more efficient to keep them patrolling their own areas until the officer called for help. That was not my decision. That's a decision by the administrator. It's a policy decision. I do not agree with that decision. Mayor, you asked a question about the policy changes. This department has done everything it can do, everything you've asked them to do. They've worked harder, longer, more efficiently over many years. Crime's gone down 12 years in a row because of these men and women doing their job. You've asked them to do more, they did more. Even without a contract, they did more. All right? Again, these things affect them and their families. Now, the change in the ordinance also affects them and their families. They're concerned about discipline. They're concerned about retaliation for speaking out by the appropriate authority, which in the past has been the committee and now is one man, all right, who has a dislike of the PBA, apparently, according to their views. So that's why they're here. As far as the discipline, Mr. Florio, you said that the statute was that the discipline is imposed by the administrator and carried out by myself. That is not what our statute says. Whatever. That's not what the statute says. Under 5 days, the discipline is carried out by the police chief, all right, and imposed by the police chief. After 5 days, it would be the appropriate authority. Now, unless you're changing that also as part of this, I still retain that right unless Mr. Bailey advises me otherwise. All right? So again, if that's your decision, and I'm told that, then that will abide by. Until that time, we're still going to maintain the proper chain of discipline, which is under 5 days, that falls from the police chief. As far as internal affairs investigations, the appropriate authority nor the administrator has access to or decides on internal affairs policies. That is from the AG's office, that is from the state law. So that will continue as it is also. And again, I want to commend these officers for the job they did. They do a fine job. They do the best they can for the town. And no one has explained to me why this is necessary. All right? No one has sat me down and said, this is the problem with the police department. This is why we have to do this. All right? Now, there are some problems. We know that. The problems exist because some people are going around myself to Mr. Bradley, right, and conspiring. All right? That's what's happening, and that's what causes a lot of problems here. So that may not happen again. It may happen in the future. I don't know. But again, what you're doing now, I believe, is inappropriate.